Well, guys, so let's see what happened in H3 and how this game ended. Now, again in H3, all civilization they lost 2 yellow tokens each. Neos got one back because of Hippocrates. Neos had Code of Laws, which is an H1 technology in his hand, so he had to discard it. And then he drew 3 military cards because of the Colossus. I had knights, so I discarded the knights. I just had them as in case I needed them, so I didn't feel too bad about discarding the knights. I didn't plan to use them. Also, all the pacts that were from H1 were discarded as well. So the trade routes agreement between Neos and Ramil, the open borders agreement between Magzapla and Neos, and the naval trade agreement between Ramil and Magzapla. All these pacts are gone now. So, let's see how the age started. I seeded, I was the strongest, so why not? And the inhabited territory, that's a pretty good one, actually. A really good one. And I won it. I was willing to bid a lot for this. So I'm not sure how much I bid here. So I was willing to bid at least 6. So I won against Magzapla, who was also willing to bid 6. So I sent one of my infantry units because it's cheaper, and then 2 colony cards for 2. And yeah, it's one of my favorite colonies to have. So I got 3 yellow tokens, and then 2 automatically I got 2 workers recruited. I used one immediately to replenish my military because I needed exactly 4 swordsmen for infantry units to match my 2 artillery units for the tactic to have 2 defensive armies. Then I decided to get my food production going. It was high time. So I developed the selective breeding. I developed the journalism as well. I built one for 8. I built one journalism, and then gained 3 with the reserves. I played the reserves to gain 3 resources, and upgraded one farm to 1H A farm to H2. So I started producing 2 food per turn now. Actually, with the efficient upgrade, I also upgraded my last remaining HA lab, the philosophy, into alchemy. So my science production was also pretty decent at 7. Magzapla, he seeded. International negotiations was revealed. I was the one seeding this event. So the civilization revealing this event chooses food, science, or ore, and then the strongest takes 3 of that, of what was chosen from the weakest. You cannot choose an option that cannot be fully paid. Magzapla chose food, so I took from Ramil 3 food. He keeps increasing his population. He had to disband one of his warrior units. I mean, he's having big issues with that, with his happy faces. Took wave of nationalism. So with nationalism, it's for each civilization that is stronger than yours. When you play this yellow card, you get 2 resources for building and upgrading military units this turn. And I think that was it. He keeps losing resource. Both Magzapla and Neos lose resources to corruption. And Ramilt also does that, I think. I'm not sure about Ramilt. I don't remember if Ramilt lost resources to corruption, but anyways. Civil unrest was revealed. Each civilization loses 4 culture per discontent worker, and also the civilization with the most discontent workers loses 1 blue token. So Maxapla lost 12 culture. Again, flat culture is not that important, but we're already at H3, so 12 culture is not insignificant. Ramel disbanded 1 warrior unit and built an H1 temple just to solve his happy faces issues himself. Took efficient upgrade. Built the first stage of the Transcontinental Railroad wonder. What? He didn't even use his last civil action? He can't. That's very funny. Because he has 5 civil actions from Monarchy, which means that the limit of his civil hand is 5 cards. So he ended the turn with 1 unused civil action because he can't build anything and he can't take any extra cards to his hand. And that's what I meant when saying that Ramelt is either a new player or somebody that doesn't pay a lot of attention to his plays, because this is definitely something that is not supposed to happen if you plan your game correctly. Wealthy territory was revealed, and I think this is a very important part of the game because Ramelt won this. I wasn't willing to lose any military units for this. Ramelt won this with 7+, and he had to match 7+ strength. So in order to do that, he spent 1 knight and then 1 card that gives him 3 colonization. So what happened is that he lost 1 of his armies. So this was basically a loss of 7 strength for him, yeah. And he made himself extremely vulnerable here. That was very risky what he did here, because both me and Maxapla, we have a lot of strength, which means that before his turn comes and he can use this. I mean, I understand that he doesn't have resources, so he wanted the extra 9 resources from the world territory. But since me and Maxapla will have a chance to play political actions before his turn comes and he can rebuild his military, this means that he's in a very risky position here. And he has only 4 military cards in his hand. So yeah, what did Neos do? He built an H2 library for 6. Of course, he's starting to produce a lot of culture, and Shakespeare lets him build this for with discount, which is great for him. It took urban growth for 2, and that was it. Thanks goodness he doesn't have. I cut his science, so he can't develop the constitutional monarchy. So he has a limited amount of civil elections here. And now it was my turn, and I played aggression, plunder to Ramild, and he conceded. I mean, basically he could have defended, but he had to sacrifice another military unit to the Himeji castle, so he decided not to do it. So yeah, I took... probably I pushed him too hard here, because I took 4 ore and 1 foot, and I did this deliberately because by taking 1 foot, this means that he can't recruit another worker, which means that he can't rebuild his military. He can't build a military unit here because he needs first to have a worker, and he doesn't have a worker, so he needs to destroy 1 of his rural or urban buildings in order to build that knight that he sent to the colony. So that was very, how should I say? that was very crucial one food that I took for him and made his next turn a nightmare, I think. And yeah, it's but I think that's I don't know. In such situation, I wonder if I should push the people I play with like that, because it's a very you'll see what happened. But I basically put him out of the game for the next 1 or 2 turns, because he will be like a punching bag for everybody else right now, because he can't rebuild his military. He doesn't have so many military actions, so he doesn't draw. I mean, he draws three cards per turn, sure, but everybody has a lot of strength, so he can't defend against everyone. So he was in a really bad spot after taking this one foot for him. And just calculate this. He spent his knight to take nine resources here, right? But he already has to spend this 3 of these resources to rebuild the knight at some point. So that's effectively 6 margin for him, 6 net growth. But then now I took 4 more for him. So instead of 6, he gained 2. And this is not counting all the other wars and aggressions he will have to endure because he lost this strength. So in the end, it turns out this was a very bad move to take this wealthy territory. So he develops the architecture for 6, and that's me. I developed the architecture for 6, which means that now the urban buildings that are from H3 or 2, they cost 2 less, and I can build 3 stages of a wonder for 1 civil action. Increase my population for 4, and build another journalism, so H2 library for 6. So now my science and my culture production are picking up, and I'm gaining a lot of momentum here. I upgraded my second food building, so now I produce 4 food per turn, which means that I can effectively get 1 worker every turn. I decided to pick the tanks just to have the option if I need, because I don't have any cavalry technology. So I thought to myself, yeah, for the time being, I'm using the defensive army. I need only infantry and artillery, but in the future, I might need cavalry. So I decided, why not? I'm spending 1 civil action for good measure. And what was expected happened. Magzapla immediately declared war to Ramild. It's war over technology. The victor takes the difference in strength in science, and with war over technology, they can take blue technologies as well. What this means is that Ramild has he has cartography. So let's say that the difference in strength right now is 9. Let's say that nobody increases their strength and the war ends with 9 difference in strength for Magzapla. So what Magzapla can do is he might take 9 science from Ramild, or he might take 5 science from Ramild, and he might take his blue technology that is worth 4 science instead. It basically takes control of this blue technology. He removes it from Ramild's board and puts it on his board. And yeah, Mazapla, this, I mean, here he showed his face as a true warmonger, because he started destroying his science buildings. I mean, he destroyed his lab. He destroyed one of his mines. just so he has some extra workers. He played the patriotism wave of nationalism, so he now has 7 resources to use for military, extra resources to use for military this turn. He built 1 unit of cannons. He built another unit of cannons, so he's now on 38 strength, the strongest, and now 20 strength difference with Ramil. So he'll basically drain all his science and take his cartography with this war. There is no doubt about that. And Ramil can't do anything. He built another H8 temples, which is very funny because, yeah, it's a very inefficient way to solve your happy face faces issues. And lost 2 resources to corruption again, which is not an issue for him at this point because he has 22 resources. So I don't envision in the future he will have any problems of paying for whatever he needs in terms of resources. And at this point, Ramil decided to resign. I hate when this happens. I mean, I understand why he did it. It wasn't a very pleasant spot for him to be in. I think he put himself in this spot with the choices he made, especially fighting for this colony. It was a suicide, in my opinion, paying 7 strength for this colony. But he, instead of giving science to Max Zaplo, what happens if the target of your war resigns, which I think is, I mean, I don't like what happens here, because what happened is that Max Zaplo took 7 culture instead of taking all the technology and the cartography. And now we just continue playing a game of 3 people instead of game of 4. And yeah, I'm adding Ramil to my list of levers. I don't like playing with levers for sure. So he's not joining my future games. Cold War was revealed. That was an event that I seeded. The 2 strongest civilizations score 6. I'm still the 2nd strongest, so I get 6 science. So that's pretty good. I don't know if you noticed, but right now, when we are 3 players, 2 cards are automatically removed from the civil row, the first 2 cards every turn. Neos built another unit of knights. Increases his population, builds, so that's his 6 knight unit. Again, increases his population and develops the architecture. Built another theater, so that's a lot of culture production for him. I mean, not, he's basically matching my culture production. So my call to consider him my main the main competitor for the first place, I think it was correct. Yeah, I see it. Freedom of movement. That's a very interesting event. It says that on your turn you may move one of your workers from one card to another, basically from one technology to another, and you pay the difference if what you move to is costs more than what you moved from. So it's kind of an upgrade, but it works between all your technologies. So what I did is I moved one alchemy to one journalism, because instead of having 2 science per turn, I'm having 2 science and 2 culture, and I paid the difference, which is one resource for that. Alchemy costs 5, journalism costs 6. Took the internet because I had a long-term plan to use this wonder, and a lot of my game, a lot of my moves, the goal of them was to play around this wonder, using this wonder. So I was planning to have a big internet wonder here. Took the engineering genius because why not? It saves 5 resources. Now it's a bit weird. It's a bit awkward that for the internet, I don't have any of the stages that is worth 5 resources, so I can't use the full discount of the engineering genius unless I build the internet and then take another wonder that has a stage with 5 that costs at least 5 resources. But even if I save just 4 resources, it's fine. Max Zapla, he takes the air forces. Now, I will spend some time here talking about this new military unit type because it's very important and it's very crucial for what is happening with the military in H3. So air forces is a special type of military unit, but it doesn't work like the other 3 types. So it you don't make armies with air forces. It's not part of an army, but you can splice an air force unit on top of an army. And what this means, what it does, is the air force unit doubles the strength of an army. So let me give you an example. Max Zapla right now has 2 armies with 2 artillery units, right? If he has an air force unit, this air force unit attaches to one of the armies, so you don't need an air force unit for the fortifications, right? You need just 2 artillery units. But each air force unit will double the strength of one of your armies. So with 2 armies, you can have up to 2 air force units to double the strength of each of your armies. So you can't have more than 1 air force unit per army. So let's say if you have 2 armies, you can have 3 air force units and double the strength of your armies, because each army can support up to 1 air force unit. Or maybe the right way to say this is each air force unit can support each army can have up to 1 air force unit. That's the correct way to say it. So if he has an air force unit, one of his armies, instead of providing extra 5 strength, will provide extra 10 strength. And you also have to keep in mind that the extra air force unit provides 5 strength of their own. So it's extremely powerful, especially with H3 armies, because the H3 tactic technologies, they give a lot of strength. So we have, what is this? We have modern army that provides 13 strength, and with air forces, getting double of this, that's 26 strength. So not bad, right? So yeah, as expected, Max Zapla immediately picked the first copy of Air Forces. I mean, he had clear plans. At this point, it was clear that he wants to play the military game and nothing else. He had no science. His production was decent, but yeah, he was like, his culture production was nowhere. He has 3 HA religion buildings. So his only plan here was to generate as much strength as possible and start declaring wars. In H3, we have 6 copies of this war over culture that says that the victor takes 5 culture plus the difference in strength in culture from the loser. So that's your military avenue in H3. You just declare wars over culture and steal culture from other players. He took the revolutionary idea again. He needs science because he doesn't produce any science. He lost 4 resources to corruption. This might start becoming an issue for him. Neos takes a revolutionary idea. Again, he also needs science. Everybody but me has issues with the science production. I mean, Max Zapla doesn't have any science production, and Neos has 4, but 4 is definitely not enough in H3. Military theory for Neos. I mean, this is interesting because he takes military theory, but with his limited, I wonder with his limited science production, what will he choose? Because if he develops military theory, this means that he doesn't develop the constitutional monarchy. And this is really hurting him, having only 4 actions. 4 civil actions. Increases his population for 4, gets out of corruption. On my end, I see it. There was this historic territory colony that I definitely wasn't willing to bid for. I had enough happy faces, and I'm not spending military units for 11 flat culture, for sure. Max Zapla won it just for 1 warrior, which is good for him, I guess. Now, it's good to mention a special type of events in H3. These are called impacts. So they work like other events to some extent. So when you reveal an impact, usually each civilization scores some culture based on based on their stats, and each impact checks different stats. For example, impact of colonies says that each civilization scores 3 culture per colony. Impact of government says that each civilization scores 2 culture per civil action and 1 culture per military action that you have access to. However, what's special about impacts is that if the game ends, because they are H3 events, if the game ends and they are unrevealed impacts, at the end of the game, they still get revealed and get evaluated. So once you see an impact, you're guaranteed to see this impact evaluated, right? So this is another way to get ahead or catch up with culture if you see the correct impacts. So I was willing to see some impacts here because, I was ahead in so many ways that seeding certain impacts would give me even more culture at the end of the game. I took the oil, which is the level, the H3 resource technology. It produces 5 resources, so it's a lot compared to, let's say, the iron, which produces 2 resources per worker. I took the professional sports. I needed this if I'm to play peer, and I wanted to play peer. I developed the oil. I upgraded one of my iron mines to oil, and I increased my population, took the urban growth, and that was it. Maxapla seeded, politics of strength was revealed. The strongest civilization draws 5 military cards, the weakest does not draw military cards, so unfortunately I'm the weakest here. So it means I won't draw any military cards, which at this point I wasn't too worried about, but still, it might become an issue if people start hitting me. Maxapla plays the breakthrough and uses it to develops the modern infantry for 10, and then because of the breakthrough he scores 3 science. And he starts building modern infantry units. So he built 2, and then he revealed the modern army tactics. So he's getting 13 strength for each combination of 2 infantry units, 1 cavalry. I don't know why I keep saying this cavalry, because in Bulgarian the stress is on the second syllable you say cavalry, so I apologize for that. It has to be cavalry, I know that. And then 1 artillery unit. That's it for him. Oh no, he upgrades one of his warriors to H3. So that's a lot of strength on his end. But again, I had the feeling that he won't attack me, because if he attacks me, he loses 4 strength immediately, because when he attacks me, this pact of military protection is just destroyed, so he will lose the 4 strength. So at least until the end of H3, I thought I'm safe from his attacks. Now Nails seeded it, and I think I made a mistake here. I mean, okay, not a mistake, but I risked something bad happening to me. So autonomous territory for me is the strongest colony in the game because it gives you one extra civil action, one extra military action, and a one-time bonus of 4 science, 5 resources. I don't know if I should call this or resources because now we are in H3 and everybody is making oil and coal and stuff, so it's not ore, but or 6 foot or 7 culture. I think this is by far the best colony in the game. So I almost instinctively decided to bid a lot for it. However, there is an issue here. And the issue is that, yeah, I won the colony. That's fine. But the issue is that if Neos develop the military theory, if Neos decides to take the air forces, and I don't have access to the air forces, I can't rebuild my military in a reasonable way. So I can get back to 34, but Maxapla already has 56, and Neos even has 45, which means that if they decide to start playing aggressions and war against me, I might be in trouble without air forces. If no air forces is revealed, I mean, I always can get lucky and reveal the other copy of air forces, right? There are 3 copies of air forces in H3. So there will be 1 copy of air forces for each of us. But right now we see the second copy and we don't see the third. So if Nails at this point decides to take this copy of air forces, I might be in a bit of a pickle military, for sure. Luckily for me, he decided not to do that. So he upgraded his farms. And yeah, I was quite relieved. So I immediately grabbed this copy of Air Force. I see it, of course. I don't care about the strategic territory, for sure. I'm not, I mean, even if I care slightly about it, I'm not spending military units for it. I don't have enough economy to rebuild them and do what I want to do. Zapla wanted, sure. I took the civil service because I have a vast science pool. So I said, why not? I take it for 1. Then I research it for 10. I take it for 1 civil action. Then I use 1 more civil action to research it. And I have 2 civil action for the rest of the game. So why not? Yeah, so right now I have 9 access to 9 civil action. I mean, you can compare this to Neos, who has access to 4 civil action. And yeah, it's a insurmountable difference, for sure. And now I took the air forces, of course. I developed the air forces. I increased my population. I increased my population again. And I could build here 1 cannons, 2 copies of air forces, which put me at 56 strength. So I felt pretty safe here. And at this point, I knew I was winning the game. This was the last point where I could, something bad could happen to me. But at this point, with all this science and especially, yeah, he declared war to Nails or over culture, Zapla. With all this science and culture production, I knew I was winning here. He increased his population. Endowment of the art, it gives him some extra culture based on the number of people that have more culture than him. Plays revolutionary idea so he can develop the air forces. Builds 1 air force unit. He gets to 77 strength. And yeah. Neos offered me a pact. We both have 3 extra strength, and this pact ends if we attack each other. And I was more than happy to take this. I could use the extra strength in the future for sure. And I didn't care at this point if Maxapla takes 3 less culture from Neos. I knew that Neos is not beating me. Actually, at this point, Maxapla was a bit more dangerous than Neos. So yeah, that was fine with me. He plays patriotism, so 4 extra military actions, not military action, 1 extra military action, 4 extra resources for military units. He plays the revolutionary idea and develops the tanks. upgrades one of his knights to one of his cavalry units to tanks, another one, a third one. Because of corruption, he loses one. This is an important thing about corruption. If you don't have enough resources, you lose the reminder in food. And if you don't have enough food, I think you lose 3 culture or something like that. It has never happened to me. I don't know what happens, but I think the rule says if you don't have enough resources, you start losing food to corruption. And if you don't have enough resources plus food to lose to corruption, you lose some culture. I think it's 3 culture for a resource that you can't lose, food that you can't lose. But yeah, Neos goes to 57 strength, which is the best he can do. Impact of technology is revealed. So each civilization scores 4 for each of its level 3 technologies. I have the most. I have 3 level 3 technologies, so I scored the most. I seeded this impact, so it was beneficial for me. I developed the professional sport here. I played reserves to gain some food, increased my population again, took Pierre, elected Pierre, and started building arenas. Now each arena produced me 2 culture, so I have 3 arenas, 2 H3, 1 H1, so I have 6 culture on top of that, and I also get some extra strength, so I'm sure that Max Zapla don't look at me with his military aggressions and wars, at least for the time being. Max Zapla doesn't look. The war outcome, so Max Zapla has 20 strength more, and so he has 5 plus 20, so a total of 25 culture from Neos. He's still big behind Neos in terms of culture here. He declared another war, but obviously he doesn't have war over culture, so he just declares war over technology against Neos, which is not bad for Max Zapla because Neos has these technologies. He has the military theory and the architecture, so Max Zapla will take this with the war over technology. So not bad at all. He plays the patriotism, gains 4 extra resources for military units and 1 extra military action. Increases his population, builds another modern infantry, so now he has 2 armies. 2 of these modern armies, and one of it is with double strength because of the air forces. So you see he has 40 strength from military units, 26 strengths for one army using air forces and the modern army tactic, and then 13 strengths for his other army using the modern army tactic. He has 8 strengths from Napoleon because he has 4 types of military units. He has 4 strengths from strategic territory, and then 4 strength for being part B in the Promise of Military Protection, the pact he has with me. So yeah, it's all about war with Max Zapla in this game. Takes the reserves, takes the military build up. I don't think he can use the military build up. For each civilization stronger than yours, you have an extra 5 resources for building and upgrading military units this round. There won't be a civilization stronger than him until the end of the game for sure. So this is just a useless card for him. Neos, he seeds. Impact of Wonders is revealed. Again, I have the most wonders. And yeah, I scored the most out of this. At this point, I mean, my culturally it is insurmountable, especially with the internet wonder that's on the way for me. Neos increases his population, builds rifleman. It doesn't matter what he does. Max Zappa will take all his culture and all his science and all his technology. So H4 starts, which is present tense. We all lose 2 yellow tokens. Max Zappa gains 1 back because of Hippocrates. Neos loses Shakespeare because he's an H2 leader, and now we're in H4. Neos discards all his H2 cards, so civil card, so urban technologies, constitutional monarchy, and one H2 military card. Maxapla loses Napoleon because he's an H2 leader, discards engineering genius 2, and our pact, promise of military protection, which served me pretty well, and I think it served him pretty well, is now gone. So on my end, I ceded impact of government. Of course, I take the most with all these actions that I have. I took democracy because why not? I don't have a lot to do with my science at this point. And democracy, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there is a limit to the number of urban buildings that you can build on a certain type of technology. So, for example, I can't build more than 3 libraries because with constitutional monarchy because of this number. So typically H2 governments and H1 governments allow you to build up to 3 urban buildings per type. With democracy, I can build up to 4 urban buildings per type, which would give me 1 more journalism building and 1 more professional sports building, which would make my internet wonder score even more. So, and the democracy also works, gives me 1 more culture per turn with the Statue of Liberty. Something that I forgot to mention about Pierre. So on top of the fact that he scores you 2 extra culture per arena that you have, he also can declare once per game the Olympic Games, and I did that this turn at the start of my turn. So you immediately score 8 culture, so that's just 8 flat culture that you get. But also, until the start of your next turn, whoever plays a war or aggression loses 8 culture. So that's a culture swing between me and Maxapla, especially because he's definitely going to declare a war or play an aggression. That's his whole game plan. But yeah, Pierre is really good. So I developed the democracy here. It's a lot of extra culture. Now I have 20 culture per turn. Played the reserves to gain 4 food. Increased my pop population for 5. Destroyed one of my H2 farms. At this point, I don't think I will need more workers. So there will be 1 more extra turn to the game. So I have enough extra food to cover the -1 food production here. And I know that the impact of agriculture, which is in my hand, so I won't seed it and it won't be evaluated. And the impact of agriculture is the only thing I care about when losing food production at this point. Each civilization scores culture equal to the amount of food it produces with a bonus of 4 if this exceeds consumption, but this won't be evaluated because it's in my hand and I'll discard it, so I don't care about it. I built another library, I built another arena. I took the urban growth at this point, and yeah, I mean, I was good. Maxapla, he took six science and all the technology, so he didn't take all the science. Neos is left with 3 science, but I don't think he can do anything with 3 science. He declared a war over culture. He lost 8 culture because of that, but he will take much more from me. He took Charlie Chaplin to solve his happy faces issues. Destroys one of his H1 farms. Plays the reserves. Another air forces. Destroys one of his H1 temples. Builds another modern infantry, and he's with 111 strength here. Neos takes Marlene Dietrich. He elects her. Each of your best theaters produces 1 extra culture and 1 happy face. So he solves his happy face issues and he produces some extra culture, I guess. And you can count one of your infantry, cavalry, or artillery units twice for purposes of tactics. But again, it doesn't matter because he is the weakest. He will remain the weakest, and I don't think Maxapla will target him with wars anymore. He's targeting me. Increases his population, builds another unit of knights, then another unit of knights, and he takes the democracy that he will not develop. So this is my last turn in the game. I seeded it, of course. All the impacts were good for me at this point. Impact of industry, we scored based on our production from mines. Scored the most. Played the urban growth, so upgraded my last H1 arena to H3 for 0, because for 0 resources, because that's what urban growth does. Urban growth 3, where is it? It says that build or upgrade an urban building, pay 4 less. So the difference between bread and circuses and professional sports is 3 resources, because bread and circuses cost 2 with the architecture and professional sports cost 5 with the architecture. So the urban growth discount covers all the entire upgrade cost basically. And I built 2 stages of the internet wonder for 5. Then I used the engineering genius to build this stage that costs 4 to build it for 0. And then with my last remaining 5 resources, I finished the internet wonder and I scored 42 culture. And this 42 culture comes from the following. So e-journalism, let me remove this. So e-journalism gives me 1 culture for the culture and science it produces. So e-journalism is worth 4 culture, right? So that's 4 times 4, so that's 16 culture from journalism. Then each professional sports gives me 4 culture because of the strength. But also, since Pierre says that professional sports gives me 2 culture, it produces 2 culture, so it gives me 2 more culture for the internet wonder. So each professional sports gives me 6 culture. So this means 4 times 6, that's 24 culture, plus 16, that's 40 culture, and then I get 2 culture more for this alchemy because of the science. That's what the internet does. Immediately score culture equal to the culture and science produced by your urban buildings plus any strength bonuses they provide. So with PR, it's amazing combo. 42 culture for 1 wonder is, it's a very good. That's how much science I would, that's how much culture I would lose to Max Zaplo. So I basically negate his war. He will take, so the difference between our strength is 37, which means that his war over culture takes 5 plus 37. He takes 42 culture from me, but I don't care because I have 271 culture at this point. I developed the tanks and I took the Hollywood Wonder. I mean, I didn't have to, but just the principle. I took it so he can take it and build it. He doesn't have the resources to do it anyways, but at this point, nothing matters. I cleared the civil roles, so he doesn't have any civil cards to use. And I scored 24 culture for the turn as well. War outcome, he takes 42 culture from me. He plays an aggression raid. He destroys 2 of my buildings and takes how much they cost, half of what they cost, rounded up. He destroyed 1 journalism and 1 professional sports. Disbands a unit of cannons, builds another air force for 7. And that's the end of the game, and now the remaining impacts will be evaluated. So the first impact here is impact of variety. Each civilization scores 2 for each type of unit, each type of urban building, and each special blue technology. So I scored 18 for that. Max Zapla scored 14, and Nails scored 8. Then impact of population, each civilization scores 2 for every content worker above 10. So all the workers that you have idle or working somewhere above 10 that are not unhappy. Nails managed to catch up a bit to Max Zapla. Then impact of architecture, each civilization scores 1 per level of each of its urban buildings. I scored a lot here. But of progress, each civilization scores 2 per level of each of its government and special blue technologies. I scored 18. Example scores 12. Neos scored 0 because he took all the blue technologies from Neos. So that's why this war was very important for him. The war over technology. It basically gave him a lot of culture over Neos. Otherwise, Neos might have been in the second place here, actually, if it wasn't for this war over technology. Impact of science, civilization scores 14, 7, and 0 based on the relative amount of science they produce. Of course, I'm in the first place here. And the final impact that will be evaluated here is impact of competition. Each civilization scores 1 per level of each of its military units and arenas. And of course, Maxapla scores the most here because he's the warmonger in this game. And I won with 141 point difference against the second. And this is the first time I win with such a big lead, if I have to be honest. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I tried it to be as educational as possible. So I want to apologize if I missed something. Also, I want to apologize if my English failed me at some point with the pronunciation of some words or using specific expressions. But yeah, I might record some future games. I'll show you analysis of some future games, but I won't explain in such details the rules of the game as I did with this game. The whole idea here was this to be the first game that you watch. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.